Okay, so if you've ever felt totally lost in the sea of diet advice out there, you're definitely not alone. It's a world of conflicting information, for sure. But today, we're going to cut right through all that noise. Let's build a solid foundation so you know what really matters. This is the big question, isn't it? It's the debate that seems to split the entire fitness world into two camps. But before we can even try to find the right answer for you, we've got to get the fundamentals down first. We need to speak the language of nutrition. And that language starts with one single concept: the calorie. Everything, and I mean everything, related to your energy levels and weight management, it all begins right here. So, a calorie isn't some scary monster hiding in your food. Not at all. It's simply a unit of measurement, just like an inch or a pound. It's the pure energy your body needs to live, to breathe, and to move. It's just fuel. So, if calories are the energy, where do we actually get them from? Well, they come from the three macronutrients, or macros, as you'll hear them called. That's protein, carbohydrates, and fat. But, and this is important, not all macros are created equal when it comes to how much energy they provide. This chart right here highlights a really key concept: energy density. Just look at that. Fat packs over double the calories per gram compared to protein and carbs. This is exactly why portion sizes for high-fat foods, like oils and nuts, are so important to be mindful of. A little bit provides a whole lot of energy. First up, we've got protein. The easiest way to think about this one, it's the construction crew for your body. Seriously, it's constantly working to build and repair everything from your muscles after a workout to the very cells that keep you healthy. Next up, carbohydrates. So, if protein is the construction crew, carbs are the high-octane fuel that powers the entire operation. They are your body's preferred, most easily accessible source of energy for pretty much everything you do. And finally, fat. For decades, fat was made out to be this huge villain, right? But the truth is, it's absolutely essential. It's critical for producing hormones, for your brain health, and for absorbing key vitamins. We literally cannot function properly without it. But here's where things get a little more complex. The type of fat you eat, it matters. A lot. This is probably one of the biggest points of confusion for people, so let's clear it up right now. This slide just illustrates the difference perfectly. On one side, you have those unsaturated fats, the kinds you typically get from plants, nuts, and fish. And on the other, saturated fats, which are often found in animal products. Just seeing them side by side is a great way to start understanding their different roles. And here's why that visual difference is so important. Unsaturated fats, the ones that are liquid at room temp, like olive oil, can actually improve your cholesterol levels and support your heart health. Saturated and trans fats, which are solid like butter, they tend to do the exact opposite, raising that bad cholesterol. And inside that bad fat category, trans fats are the absolute worst of the worst. As this quote from Scripps Health points out, they deliver this dangerous 1-2 punch to your cholesterol. This is exactly why they've been largely banned from processed foods in many countries. Okay, so we've covered the basics of calories and macros, but what does all of this theory actually mean for you personally? Like, how much energy do you actually need every day? Well, the great news is we don't have to just guess. We can use these well-researched scientific formulas to get a really, really reliable estimate of our body's baseline energy needs. It's a fantastic starting point. So, for example, here are the two most common formulas. You've got the Harris-Benedict equation, which is the original from way back in 1919, and then the Mifflin-St. Jean, which is a much more modern update from 1990. For the exact same person, you can see they give slightly different results for their resting metabolic rate, or RMR, and that's just the number of calories your body burns by, just being alive. So which one is better? Well, research consistently shows the Mifflin-St. Jean formula is about 5% more accurate for most people today. Now, that might not sound like a lot, but over weeks and months, that little bit of precision can make a real difference in reaching your goals. All right, now that we have all that foundational knowledge packed on our brains, we can finally come back to our original question and actually understand the debate between these two really popular dietary philosophies. The core difference between these two approaches really comes down to their focus. If it fits your macros, or IFIM, is all about the numbers, hitting specific macro targets each day, no matter where the food comes from. Clean eating, on the other hand, is all about quality, focusing on whole, minimally processed foods, and being less worried about the precise numbers.
This quote from Physique Development really just hits the nail on the head. These approaches are often marketed like they're opposing sports teams, which just creates confusion and makes people feel like they have to pick a side. But do they really have to be opposites?
Because when you actually look at the potential positives of both approaches, they start to look remarkably similar. Both can teach you about portion control, give you a sense of control over your nutrition, and believe it or not, both can actually help you enjoy food in social settings without guilt. And the exact same thing is true for the potential drawbacks. If you take either IFIM or clean eating to an extreme, both can lead to obsession, restriction, and a really poor relationship with food. So, you see, the problem isn't necessarily the diet itself, but the mindset of the person who's following it. And this brings us to what is probably the most important takeaway of this whole explainer. The best diet isn't IFYM or clean eating. It doesn't have a label. It's simply the approach that you can stick with consistently, that makes you feel good, and that doesn't make you feel anxious or guilty about your food choices. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. Now that you understand calories, macros, and these different food philosophies, what does a truly healthy, sustainable, and enjoyable way of eating look like for your unique life? Finding that answer for yourself is so much more powerful than any diet label. Thanks for tuning in.